Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Fatmata here from Traditionally Inspired Meaningful Art. And y'all, I finally went ahead and did my color analysis and I'm here to tell you all about it. Okay, so I had mentioned previously that I was really interested in joining Hales from Hales More Sewing in the Sew Your Colors 2022 challenge. And in order to do that, folks, I needed to know what my colors were. I've also heard and have seen many different vloggers here, YouTubers, who have raved about what a difference it's made knowing their colors, understanding their season, their undertones, and all of these fantastic things. And also one thing that stood out to me was their ability to select fabrics in such a meaningful way after knowing their colors, particularly when you find things in a variety of colorways. And I was like, you know what? Now you're talking about my pockets, about saving me some money, and that I can get down with. And while for a long time I felt like I knew what works for me, what looks good, I was starting to realize that I could use some help in this department. I want to know a little bit more. So I am really excited that I know what my colors are now, even though it took a little bit of joy, away from me. Now that I've come to terms with it is what I'm trying to say. I think I will be better for it, but it shocked me a little bit. So let's dive in. I used the ColorWise app or website that Hales More Sewing posted on her YouTube video. I will link all of this down below, a link to her video talking about the Sew Your Colors challenge, as well as the link to the app. It is free, folks. You take a photo of yourself, you upload it. It allows you to kind of select and make sure you're getting all of the right areas so that it's not picking up the coloring from a shaded part or a really bright part of your face, but you know, actually getting there. So with that, it then generates and tells you what your season was. When it first told me what my season was and what my, I was like, let me get another picture. Maybe you need to see something else. And I went and I took another one. It's the same one, guys. It's the same one. I am a deep winter. A deep winter. Winter. Me? What? For some of you, if you know this whole color analysis thing, you're not surprised. There's one of you who certainly is not surprised. I remember when I did my President's Day sale video from G Street Fabric, and I was holding up some fabrics and I was like, this is my color. Someone in the comments was like, no, it's not. You're a deep winter. These are not deep winter things. So you are correct. I am a winter, and it has a lot to do with the features, the characteristics, undertones, and etc. So let me talk to you a little bit. I'm going to grab my laptop, so just don't mind me. Okay. All right. So my features are darker, and I have more darker skin tone complexion, obviously, but I also have cool undertones. And I think it's the cool tones that really did me in. That's why I couldn't see it. In my mind, I've always thought that I had warm undertones. I don't know if I made that up. I don't know if I felt like when I was sun-kissed and glowing in the warmth of the summer, that like, okay, then that means that I have warm skin, right? Like I just assumed. And I remember going to the MAC counter in like my late teens, early 20s, when I would buy makeup and stuff and be like, yeah, I'm warm. And I would have makeup that would leave such a red tint or cast to my skin. And now I see. I definitely can see myself being more neutral, if anything, but like after I looked at myself, I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So there you have it. It was asking me questions such as, are you drawn to the deepest colors of plum, navy, and forest green? The answer is yes, but I'm drawn to a lot of colors. Of course I'm drawn to those. They're gorgeous. I love anything that's like a jewel tone. I've always been drawn to jewel tones. I think they look fabulous on me, if I do say so myself. And my color analysis would agree with that, actually. I just thought that those were the colors that captivated me because they're gorgeous, not necessarily like they look best on me. You know what I mean? So some other characteristics, if you are interested in knowing. So they talk a little bit about, of course, the eyes and the skin. I have really dark brown. I mean, if we were, say, black eyes, dark brown. I know no one's eyes are actually black, but really dark brown eyes. My hair, just trust me on this, is really dark brown, similar to my eyebrows. And my face, yeah. So my skin is dark, but a cool undertone. That was the missing link for me. I never would have pinned that. As far as my contrast, I think when I look at my skin in black and white and I look at my pictures of myself, I do see like really bold eyebrows, sharp eyes, and then like my skin is quite, you know, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it now. I can see it now. So as far as the color palette, they gave me a color palette when I finished with my analysis, and I will be sharing that on the screen. And I think the colors that surprised me most was how much pink is on this palette. I was like, pink? There's so much of it. So many pinks and purples. I love the blues and greens. I wear blue and green quite a bit already. Pink, not as much. Purple, I almost swore off one year because I was like, I don't really wear purple that often. I don't know. And then I made that eggplant purple skirt in December, and I was like, this is nice. I've always loved that color. There's just certain shades of purple that I'm like, I'm not ever really drawn to them personally. But that doesn't mean that they didn't look best on me. I just didn't find myself going there. As far as some other things, as far as color dimensions that I've learned so much about. So they talk about hue, and that's the warm and cool spectrum. So I'm on the cooler side of that spectrum as far as hue. As an artist, hue for me means color. I think like it's like the hue of something is like its actual color. I don't know. As far as values, you can have a light value or a dark value. I think my value would be on the darker end of that spectrum. And then for chroma, there's muted, so like those heathered sort of fabrics, and then there's bright. So that has to do with like the saturation of certain colors and its actual like depth. So I lean towards bright colors, but the colors are darker. It's interesting. So like, I guess summers would be bright, but also lighter colors, and I'm darker colors, but I want the saturated, really deep shades of it. Interesting. So that was really cool to kind of see. All right. So, you know what color I didn't see on all of, the entire palette? There was not an orange in sight. Not an orange in sight. And even among the yellows, I was like, is that it? You got more? Is it hiding under a rock? No camel colors, no warm, which I get. They want me in cool colors. They don't want warmth for me. So anyways, it got me thinking about my stash of fabrics. My abundant, beautiful, increasingly overwhelming stash. And I came to the reality that I don't need, dare I say, I don't want all of this fabric. I think initially when I was buying fabric, I would pick up like if it was a deal, just because I was like, I don't know when I'm ever gonna find a natural fiber beautiful or this print and yada yada. The more I shop for fabric, the more I realize I always find something better, or like that's more suited to me, or that I like more, or that I'm more excited to work with immediately, you know, than things that have been in my stash for ages sometimes, right? I often use the excuse that like, that's great because then that's wearable toile fabric. You know how you love to do that. And to be honest, I don't need that much. I don't need that much wearable toile fabric. Okay. But it also got me looking at like previous videos just to see like, do I light up more in certain things, you know, that I'm wearing than others? I really wanted to kind of see for myself before I can just subscribe to this notion. I'm not even arguing with this notion that I'm a deep winter. I get it. I am okay with that. I've taken my moment. I now know it. And I'm like, okay. But I don't know that I'm necessarily going to like throw away everything that's out of that color palette, but it might make me recognize certain things a bit more. It's certainly going to help me in future shopping trips. That's for sure. But I think I need some time to like understand it a bit more. So as I've thought of my stash about all of the abundant fabrics and all of the beautiful things that I've brought into my collection. I love them all, which is why I purchased them, but they might not all love me back. And I don't think I'm going to completely eradicate or get rid of all of those, but I can be more mindful in the future, of course, of new purchases. But I can also go back and say, what doesn't really suit me and what can I give to someone else? So I think I'm going to start a Destashify account probably within May. I think this is a really good kickstart for me. I've been on YouTube for like a year and some change, and I think it's about time that maybe I invest so I can bring more quality photos. So maybe this is like a fundraiser, and I will put some of my beloved fabrics that don't love me back up on there. And I do encourage anyone, if you have ever thought about doing a color analysis, the ColorWise app was super quick and easy and fast and didn't require much at all. And it just gives you information that you can choose to use in any way that you want. Maybe you find out and you're like, good for you. And I don't care, and I'm going to wear what I love. And I respect you for that. Or you're like me and you've been thinking that like, I really need to downsize this fabrics collection because my kids need a place to put their clothes. And mama's just taking up all the drawers now, you know? So I need to pare down a little bit, and it's becoming a bit more overwhelming than like fun and all of that. And I want to make sure that even when I pull out fabrics, even if they're going to be wearable toiles, I want to wear them and I want to like wearing them. So they should still be things that I think I look good in. Will every single thing that I ever make moving forward be best for me color-wise? Probably not, because there are some things that I know that I've purchased that I'm like, I don't care what anyone says about what color suits me. I'm making that because I love that fabric, you know? There are some that are just going to pull at your heartstrings and do that to you. And I'm okay with that. But for the ones where I can make wise decisions and kind of leave some space in my collection, I am so ready to do that. So I will, of course, announce and let you all know when I have a Destashify account, but it's coming because some of this stuff has got to go. I hope that you've enjoyed learning about my color analysis experience, and I cannot wait to hear from you in the comments down below. Have you done your color analysis? Are you afraid to do a color analysis because it'll make you reconsider some things like it's doing to me? Because I think that's why I've put off doing my colors for so long. I was like, I don't think I want to know, but I do want to know. I have a lot of fabrics here that I'm just gonna like go through and look through and be like, did I do a good job? What was I thinking? I have a lot of that to do. Wherever you are, folks, I hope you stay creative, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.